Alrighty, I am quite late to getting this opened and making a video about this. This box came right before I left for a camping trip, and 5 days later, here I am finally opening this box, rushing to make a video before I move back to school because it's August. Anyway, I finally have the August SmartArt box here in my hands. This box was unfortunately delayed for quite a while due to a supply being delayed and not arriving on time, but it is finally here. I already know exactly what is inside the SmartArt box because there was a delay. I saw spoilers way ahead of time. I'm very, very excited to open it. I cannot wait to show you what's inside if you don't already know, so I'm just gonna get right on to opening this. Oh boy, this box is bursting, and I definitely know why. Let's see if I can get this baby open. It's not too much suspense this time since I already know, but I am extremely excited. I am so excited. I'm sure you've already noticed. There's tote bags here. There's tote bags. Is there just one or is there two? There's two. There's two tote bags. I thought there was only one that came in the box. Oh boy, this is so exciting. This is so incredibly exciting. This is so difficult because I already know what's in here and I don't want to completely spoil it for everyone by just saying what it is. Here we have a little pencil pouch. I think one of the supplies is here inside. Oh, no, there's just more pencil pouches in here with some popsicle sticks. Two pencil pouches that are completely blank. I know exactly what we're using them for. We have some tape here, some masking tape. Does anyone get the sense of where we're going yet? We have the SmartArt sticker, which looks very unique this month. I like the font. Here we have some screen printing ink. There we go. I just said it. If you can't figure it out yet, this is your biggest hint. I just said what the box is. I'm so excited about this. We have an X-Acto knife.
Let me see what you have.
No! We have a wood block. I'm trying so hard to not say it. I'm trying so hard. We have an Art Alternatives permanent marker. I believe there's a black one somewhere as well, unless this one is capable of switching inks. No, this one is just blue. We have pencil grips right here. This is the frame. It's getting too difficult to just not say what it is. This is a screen printing box. Screen printing is a really fun form of art that I've been wanting to try for quite a while. We actually have a screen printing class that we offer at my college, and I've been thinking about taking it, but now I may get to experience it before doing so. We have a little cutting board here, cutting board / measuring board. And then here at the bottom, we have special paper that we're going to be using to make all of our prints on. I do believe that is everything. Let me just move this box right out of the way so we can get started, because I am very hyped. I've been waiting for this box to come. I've been waiting to open this. I'm so excited to finally try screen printing. All right, here's the little frame. Here's our wood block, popsicle sticks and sticker, our pen. Then I'm going to have to read the manual quite a bit, watch a couple videos just so I can remember exactly how I'm supposed to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I believe there are 10 here, which means I could possibly make 10 whole designs if I want to. Alright, I believe I have an idea of what I would like to start out with. I think for my first design, for my first print, I would like to use this little mushroom art that I made. I'm going to recreate this in a traditional form, in a print form, and I'm going to have it printed all over the tote bags. This is probably going to take me a good amount of time to cut out, given that there's a lot of different thicknesses and a lot of detail, but I love detail work, so I'm going to be very excited about doing this. It may be a little bit too ambitious to start with something this big and this detailed on my first try, but if I fail, I fail. I do have 10 whole sheets, so if I screw up, that's just going to be a part of the learning process. Alright, I've printed out my design onto just a little sheet of printer paper. I'm going to see if it fits in the frame first, just make sure I don't have to reprint it. It looks like it fits. I'm really glad that I got that first try. Okay, I think that'll fit in there just fine, so I think now the next step is just to trace the design onto this and then start working on cutting afterwards. Hi Gemma, your tail is in the camera, Miss Girl. I'm working at the moment if you can't tell. Gemma, you're not helping. You're not being very helpful. I need this. I need this. You're making it uneven. Welcome back, Gemma. Gemma, you're on camera again. Ah, Gemma. Gemma, that's not dry yet. Baby. Hey. No, baby. What? Yes, you're such a big help. Yes. Gemma, that is a paintbrush. Can I have it back, please? I'm taking this. I'm gonna take all of these, actually. After a long period of Gemma interrupting everything, I did finally get to tracing this, and the only complaint that I really do have about this is that the permanent marker does get everywhere. Despite what design I was doing, no matter what I was working on, whenever I was cutting out the stencil, I kept continuously getting my fingers covered in blue marker, and it is really, really difficult to get off. It definitely is permanent, I do give it that, but it does smudge quite easily and it does get all over your fingers. So if this is your first time working with something like this, get used to it. It's going to be really, really messy. Also, highly commend SmartArt for giving those little pencil grips to go along with the X-Acto knife, because when you get into the cutting stage of this, you're going to need it. The cutting does really make your wrist ache if you do it for long periods of time, and having that pencil grip really does help. Also, another note about when you're cutting. I also realized over time, as I did more and more designs as I was working on this, you want to start in the center of your designs. Do not start on the outside. It gets way harder and way more difficult to cut if you start on the outside, because then you have little pieces that are moving around as you're trying to cut. You have more possibility of making miscuts, cutting through stuff. It's just far safer and far more easy, and you may have a higher chance of preserving your design if you start in the middle, especially if you work with the details in the middle first. Work with your little sections in the center of your design, then do your bigger pieces, and don't cut out like massive chunks at once. I discovered over time that it works better if you slowly cut out chunk after chunk and break those big pieces down into smaller pieces. It just works a lot better. It helps conserve your design, helps you make less mistakes. Just some stuff that I learned along the way that I feel like is pretty important to point out. Well, cutting, that took absolutely hours, and I don't think I want to do something with this complicated of a design and this tiny of parts ever again. As you can see, I decided I did not want to try to cut out more little circles or parts anywhere near here at the top, so I'm just gonna hope it looks good. I'm gonna try taping this to the back of the screen, and I have some Canson mixed media paper here that's just blank. I figured I could do a test print on here just to see what it looks like, because I'd rather do something that looks good on my final product. Just test it on this paper first, see how it looks. I'm very nervous about it. I have to get the masking tape out so I can tape this. Okay, I think the only thing that's left is for me to start to get this paint in here with the popsicle stick, and then I use the squeegee to like pull it down. I don't know how much I should apply, like just looking at the photos in the little manual, I really can't tell. I don't know if this is going to like bleed through it all because it is like really thick and it is ink. So I guess we'll see what happens. I really don't know what to expect with this. I figure I'm gonna need quite a bit of ink. It's so goopy. Okay, move this for the time being, and then this needs to be at a 45-degree angle. And you apply firm pressure as you drag it down. It's like a zipper. There's some that's just stuck down there and it doesn't want to go. Okay, I'm gonna grab some more paint because it seems like that wasn't really enough. I think that covered the rest of it. Now I've got to get the rest of it back off, back into the thing. We set this here for the time being. Do I just lift it up and see what happened? Hello? Oh, that did not apply well at all. I mean, it looks somewhat okay right now. I mean, from the areas that did transfer. I guess there was just more application that I needed to do that I didn't realize. Maybe I wasn't pressing hard enough. It could be that. Maybe it was just my pressure. Maybe I just wasn't pressing hard enough. I'm gonna keep trying this. Okay, I have an old sketchbook from Drawing 1 that has pretty thin paper that I feel like I could probably use and sacrifice for this, because I feel like I just need to keep retrying until I understand the right amount of pressure I need to apply for something like this. I'm assuming you have to put a pretty firm and even pressure onto this. Do you think that's enough times? You think maybe it worked? Time for the moment of truth. Moment of truth. Okay. I mean, given that I didn't put a lot of details into this, it basically transferred perfectly. It just doesn't have the amount of details that I'm wanting. I really like this design, but I think because I can't show off the details, I just can't make it look the way I want. So this one, I think I'm gonna have to try to do something a lot simpler and something with a lot darker forms, something that will give me a lot more contrast. And I think I have an idea of what I'd like to do next. So I decided to go with my touch tone telephone head, object head character. This idea was in my head for quite a while before I started making this video. I was like, what if I did one of my object heads? That could be cool, right? And I thought the best one to start with would be the telephone head. That's one of my personal favorites, and I thought it would be the easiest to make, given that it has a lot of nice shapes I could easily block out and turn into areas that would then transfer over with the paint. I was a little bit worried about certain areas, how fine the points were, how thin the details were, so there were some areas that I did eventually make a little bit more blocky, but I think that did serve it better in the end. Obviously I never got the hands to look all that detailed, but it's a sacrifice I was willing to make. Okay, I printed it out onto this piece of printer paper. It looks pretty good. I think this could possibly be a really good one to do. I'm a little worried about right here. I probably won't add extra details here. I'll probably make these be solid black blocks. But I'm gonna see what I can do. Let's see if it fits. It looks like it just fits in here. It's just the right size. So it looks like I did size this perfectly. So now I just have to spend however much time it's going to take me to get this transferred over to a stencil. Okay, I've got the paint layered on, so we're gonna make sure this works this time. Okay, moment of truth time. Ooh, it looks good. There's a little bit of the H missing, but it looks good. Also missing a little bit here in the middle, so I feel like I'm probably gonna have to put more pressure here the next time I do it. Let's see if I can line this back up. Unless I go in a little bit more again, just to make sure that I get all those areas nice and firm. Let's see if that fixed anything in just a second. I'll see if that changed anything in just a second. Okay, did anything change? There we go, that looks a lot better. Except you can't really tell these are O's at the moment, so I feel like I'm probably gonna have to cut a little bit more off of the O's onto this, just to make sure that the O's actually look like O's, because right now they look like C's, and I don't really want them to look that way. Okay, I tweaked around the stencil a little bit, I made some of the lines cleaner, I added a couple final details. I don't think there's much I can do about the left thumb. I really don't think I can make that all that much more detailed. I've done the best I can with the lettering. I don't think I can really make it any better. So I think this is the print that I'm just going to settle with, and I'm going to start with putting it onto the tote bag. Unfortunately, Gemma is sitting just off camera and I can't get her to leave, so I'm gonna have to be extremely careful as I do this because I don't want her approaching any of this paint. She already stepped on one of the test prints earlier. Luckily it was just her paw, but I caught it and she did get paint on herself. So I really don't want that to happen again. That's probably way more than enough. Firmly pressed. It's going to be interesting to see how this transfers over to fabric, because on the paper it was a little bit streaky. So I'm very curious to see if the same streaky effect happens with fabric, or if it'll have more of just a soaking into the fabric sort of feel. Gemma keeps standing up trying to come over here. You can't come over here, Gemma. That is a very big no. You cannot come over here. Just breathe angrily at me. Come on up. Ooh, oh, that transferred really well. That transferred even better than the paper did. There is a little smudge there I'm not a huge fan of, but wow, that transferred so well. Oh, it looks beautiful. I really like it. It looks really cool on the bag. I feel like maybe I should make some smaller designs, like maybe flowers or something. I think maybe I want to make some flower stencils that I could use for this. I think that could be pretty cool. This transferred really well. I like the look of it being like, I kind of like the non-totally opaque look on some of these areas. It makes it look a little bit worn. I kind of like it. And now I'm gonna have to wait for it to dry so I can do the opposite side. I think aside from this, I'm gonna cut the video short here. I'm going to end it with this beautiful print. I don't really want to spend the time waiting for this to dry, then put it on the other side, then film the ending of the video. So I'll probably just leave it with this one bag that I've done so far that has the one print on it. I'll eventually flip it around and do the other side. Once I finish those, I can take little videos of them and add them onto this one. which you're probably seeing on screen now. Here you go. Here is just a little video of me showing off the bag. I have one of them here that has the design on both sides. I ended up deciding to only print the telephone on one bag because I came up with another design that I think is even better than this one that I'm about to show you in just a few seconds. So you know how I mentioned a little bit earlier that I wanted to do flowers? Well, I was specifically thinking along the lines of a really cool, pretty looking sunflower. And so I decided to start working on a sunflower print idea. I traced a lot of different sunflowers, trying to figure out what angles I wanted them to be at, how did I want them to look, how many flowers did I want there to be. I was originally thinking there were going to be way more, but I just couldn't find any layouts that I liked with them, so I decided to stick with this 2 sunflower layout, and I gradually went in and I added all the black areas, which would symbolize every single area that I was going to cut out on the stencil. I think now I've learned a lot more about creating designs for screen printing. Something in particular that I realized was that when you're cutting, you need to have enough areas to be sure that your design doesn't fall apart. And so when I was designing this, I made sure I had enough white spaces in between my black marks, made sure I didn't go too detailed or make the black marks too tiny to cut. I was very, very careful with this one. I spent a lot of time working on it, and I think my care with this one ultimately made it the best one. You'll see, the print turns out so clear. I think I did a really good job with this one. I got the really fine points cut out. I spent a long time cutting it. I ended up putting it on this tote bag. It was the very first test. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I absolutely love it. I think it's super cute. I think it has a lot of nice summer vibes to it. However, I think it also has this point of standing out as a work of art. The next thing I did was I went and I decided to make a whole bunch of prints with it. I have a lot of this really nice, it's very soft paper. It almost feels like it has more of a canvasy texture and a little bit more of a fabric-y texture while still being a paper. It's more suited for pastels, but it ended up working literally perfectly for making screen prints on paper. It was the best decision I could have made. So I ended up making 6 of these sunflower prints, and I think they all turned out really nicely. There were some prints where like the paint didn't completely transfer, but honestly I think it adds this really nice little bit of charm to it, a little bit of personalization that I wasn't expecting from it, and I think it looks really good, and it's really fun to be able to just make all of these prints like this. As you saw earlier, I did start filming a original ending for this video, but I think I'm just gonna end it here because honestly I'm in a much better mood now, ending on a much better note, so I'm just gonna end the video here. Thank you so much SmartArt for sending this box for me to play with. Screen printing is an absolute blast, and if you haven't already, you should go head over and check out SmartArt's Instagram and other social medias because they're going through some pretty big awesome changes right now. Of course, you can like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video and expect more to come, more fun stuff since I'm going back to college and receiving more boxes. But as always, I gotta head off now, so I will see you in the next one.